BRT stands for Bus Rapid Transit, essentially a bus service that is enhanced in a number of ways. The Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota see two primary distinctions of types of BRT. Arterial BRT routes, or the ones with the letters, are routes that travel mostly on existing surface streets, often in dedicated lanes, and almost certainly with some enhancement to the ticketing system at various stops that feature infrastructure themed to Metro Transit's aesthetic. These routes could be served by trams, trolleys, or LRT in the future. The other kind of BRT is highway bus BRT. These are routes with colors for names. These routes are built into transit corridor projects that could be served by rail someday. Today we're taking Metro Transit's Orange Line from downtown Minneapolis to Burnsville's heart of the city. We start this trip on Marquette Avenue in downtown Minneapolis. We're standing within walking distance of three of the tallest buildings in Minnesota, amidst the Mark II Transit Corridor. This corridor was developed in 2009 to coordinate express bus stops in what was then, and to a slighter degree remains, in downtown Minneapolis today. The corridor features an inbound and outbound configuration with one-way bus running lanes opposing oncoming general traffic. Marquette Avenue is the outbound side for buses running south to the suburbs. Orange Line buses utilize stops labeled C and most of the F stops. These stops have schedules, security call boxes, wayfinding, bus information screens, and fare boxes that actually required me to double tap each tile, but I wasn't able to decipher that just yet. No worries, because I'm riding today on a day pass on my phone's Metro Transit app, for which I paid $5 on a weekday. The Orange Line replaces the limited stop route 535, which terminated at 98th Street in Bloomington. The Orange Line's route takes it down Interstate 35W for most of the route. Stops are all within a quarter mile of the highway, part of the city being the furthest at the terminus in Burnsville. 3rd and Marquette is the first listed stop southbound on the Orange Line, but we'll pick it up today at 5th Street from downtown. Onboard, we find a fresh-looking new Flyer XD60, clearly part of the Metro system of routes. The seats are nicely padded, a welcome change from the hard plastic of the green and blue line trains. At first, the route could be any given express bus out of downtown Minneapolis. The bus makes automated announcements for each stop, and the usual stop request buttons are present. In my experience, BRT buses will entertain the idea of making any given station stop, but failing a stop request or visible waiting fares at the curb or platform, some buses will run past stops for efficiency's sake, but this is more typical during non-rush hours. In any case, the fare on the Orange Line is not part of the express fare structure, putting it in the base level for a cheaper ride in all categories of ridership costs.
Marquette and 11th Street Station. This station for Orchestra Hall.
Turning onto 35W, we're entering the final phase of a long, drawn-out construction project on the freeway, which improved a number of structural aspects of the grade through South Minneapolis. The Orange Line was a particular feature of the project, with the upcoming Lake Street BRT station access via a southbound off-ramp for the Orange Line. The 46th Street station is fully within the median of the interstate and is accessible to bus routes on the bridge above.
539W and 46th Street Station connect here to routes 11 and 46.
Now in Richfield, 66th Street Station is where Edina and Mall of America bound buses connect to the Orange Line.
535W and 66th Street Station connect here to route 515.
Turning off the freeway at 76th Street, the Orange Line makes two stops along a corridor on Knox Avenue. This area services the Best Buy headquarters and the area around Southtown Mall.
American Boulevard. Connect here to routes 4, 534, 538, and 542.
This part of the freeway hasn't yet seen significant redevelopment, and the upcoming 98th Street station is a good example of a clunky stop on this BRT line. The bus exits the freeway, makes a left turn onto 98th Street, and proceeds over the freeway, making 3 more rights and stopping at a platform on the exterior of the bus platform maze. This stop seems like a concession to the other bus routes running through Bloomington. The transfers are easy, but the BRT runs less efficiently. Making a left to go over the freeway and loop back on, we descend into the Minnesota River Valley into Dakota County and our destination of Burnsville. This stretch is the longest non-stop portion of the route. We run over the swampy grasslands along the old Lyndale Avenue corridor once served by US Route 65. Proceeding south, we enter the old stock suburb of Burnsville via a cloverleaf ramp onto the divided Minnesota Highway 13. The Orange Line's terminus is at Heart of the City, an urbanist development in Burnsville's classic downtown, which is north of the Interstate 35 east-west split 2 miles to the south.
Thank you.
The terminal location for this BRT is curious at first. but makes sense given the proximity to the MVTA's Burnsville transit station across the highway. While buses do connect with the Orange Line at the heart of the city on our current side of the highway, and there's absolutely no need to do so, getting over to the MVTA station requires crossing the divided highway at grade via a signalized stop. A pedestrian or trail bridge within walking distance of the station would be appreciated and likely more efficient for all. It's not that you need to go to the station across the highway to get to your next bus, it's more that the option to do so would be beneficial, especially considering the size of the park and ride that it would serve. In any case, we make that walk across the highway and proceed into the transit station to await an eastbound MVTA Route 444 bus. That bus will take us across Burnsville and into Eagan, where we'll pick up the Metro Red Line BRT next week. Stop on back then for that video and subscribe if low-key BRT rides are something that passes the time for you. Thanks for watching. Keep changing your horizon. Bye now.